today is like demonstration for pen testing and the process of the cybersecurity. Since you're going to start in the cyber technical field, so we will going to start a demo session, and this is going to be about 30 minutes. So we can just move into that. So before that, I want to know about the students. Like, have you you know the basics of networking and Linux fundamentals, right? So you can say yes or no.
Net networking, yes, but not in
Oh,
Linux.
not Linux, right? Okay, but it's better to go through Windows administration, Linux administration, and networking both as well. Then only you will be able to cope up with these topics initially. So initial phase it is not required, but going forward, I'm saying.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. So these are the topics I'm going to cover. So we can move into the introductions. So why this penetration testing is important means like uh, every product is being software product is being created, and there are gaps to that, the networks, the products they create. So the pen testing is a must, and then only they give the complaints, and for even to apply a loan or insurance for software companies, they need to undergo this ISO certification, that the pen testing is a mandatory. So they have to be cyber resilient against the vulnerabilities and the real world attacks. So then only those things will be processed. So I mean, all the companies should be compliant on this, and then only customers will believe them. So for every product it is being created, pen testing is a final landscape where the companies would go, and they find those vulnerabilities and fix it, and then they go for the release of the applications. So importance of cybersecurity, that uh, in this digital era, even the AI is being hacked. So there are vulnerabilities in the AI itself. So even AI cannot fully replace this cybersecurity, because the AI is also a software, a piece of code running in the servers and the backend. And there are different types of pen testing as well: white box, gray box, and black box, that we will cover it later. So, but there are different types of methodologies, that many phases that undergo for us each softwares. So that's how companies expect you. You would heard of bug bounties, right? So it's similar kind of thing, but you will be working for a one companies. But what you're learning is you can apply in the bug bounties as well. So you can use this knowledge, use it as a skeleton or the template, and you can uh, hack any applications in the world. Like your creativity should be on your face. Like using the skeleton, you have to develop on yourself. So that's how it is. So pen testing is the clean process of breaking the applications. So you have to find a way to hack that application and find the vulnerabilities, and that's how your work is gonna be in cybersecurity. So there are two phases. One phase is like defense, and another phase is offense. So you have to learn the both to be in a good shape in your future. So do you have any doubts in this? So if you have any doubts, you can just let me know quickly.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, so we can go to the next. So now let's see the process of pen testing. So we are saying that pen testing to break the application. So what are the process involved? So I'm splitting into three main process, that is planning and reconnaissance. Reconnaissance in the saying information gathering. So if you want to know about a person, you will keep a detective to, gather the information, what is that person is doing, and you have to understand the characteristics of the person, so how they have built it, and how their inner characteristics, how they are behaving and all, right? So that's how, if you take any application, like if a software is built, so you have to gather the information, like what programming language it is used to build, what is the backend technology, or it is hosted in cloud, how many subdomains are registered in that. So you have to gather as much as information, and you have to plan the attack mapping. So how we can plan it, where we have to go and test it first, and how this interconnectivity works. So if you take an application, you have to plan it first, and recon is the sense you have to gather as much as information, like what is technology it is using, what kind of coding language, what exact version they are using. So those kinds of information you have to gather it first, and then the next phase comes is the scanning and enumeration. So scanning is the, like, you have to there are many tools available in the market, like Nessus, Qualys, Burpsuit, IBM, and HCL App Scan. So there are many scanners available. According to that, you have to put your applications for scanning, and that's based on that scan results. You have to enumerate the uh, components that have been used. For an example, small applications has multiple components. The backend will be SQL, they will be using a MongoDB, or the front end itself. There are many applications, React, Angular, many frameworks they are using. So if a framework is vulnerable to particular vulnerability, you have to test it out and enumerate and keep the test cases. So that's how you would plan the scanning and the enumeration part. The next comes the exploitation and reporting part. So then you have to, according to the information you have gathered, you have to plan your attack surface, and you have to start exploiting it, and you have to report it to the stakeholders, and then it will go to the remediation team for fixing, and you will retest. So this is the process involved. This is, I'm saying it very quickly, but this will be a month process. Like you will be given a certain amount to break the applications and put the reports. And for reporting, there are many categories and uh, points are there. According to that, reporting will be crafted and then sent to the development team, and the developers will sit with us, and they will ask us the doubts, how did you do that, and we will send the POCs, and then we will be able to coordinate with the development team and fix the vulnerability, and then they will move into the live. Okay, this is how the process of pen testing will go. So any doubts in this?
No, not from my side.
Yeah, so we are good to go then. uh, Initial set of phase, I want to explain you about the lab setup. So what we are going to use the tools for this pen testing process. As you are the beginners for learners, you can use Kali Linux. You can use it to download from VMware. First, VMware is also open source now, so you can download the VMware Professional from Broadcom, and you can download it and set it up. And you can download the Kali Linux. I will show you itself. Wait. So this is the Kali Linux website. So you can download this virtual machine uh, thing, and you can go. This is your preference, VMware or VirtualBox. Both are free. You can download it and just import it to the uh, that image. So you can download the VMware image from virtual machines. You can click torrent or direct download. It will download. So you can directly import it. Your Linux will be ready. It will hardly take 15 to 20 minutes based on your internet speed as well, and that's how it goes. So let me come back to the screen again. So Kali Linux, why Kali Linux is, it is pen testing distributions available in the market, which is open source, and it has all the tools pre-built for you, so you don't need to search for the tools, and essential tools are available in that. So for a beginner, it all will be in the handy. So essential tools like Nmap, Burpsuite, Metasploit, all things will be there. So you can use it there, and the open source vulnerability scanners, OpenVAS is there. We can set it up and use that. So these are the softwares that you are gonna basically use in your starting stage, and then you will be having expanding your arena of all the things. You have any doubts in this regarding tools and software gonna be using? I will take it as a yes, and I will move forward.
Yes. So you mean to say, like, during the course we'll be using this tool, is it, for testing and all?
Yeah. But
testing.
since there is a demo session, right? It will itself take an hour to complete for you to set it up, these installing and setting up the machines. Yeah. So I'm giving a quick walkthrough what is gonna be and how I gonna take over this stuff like that. So this is the lab environment configuration. Just you will be setting up the Kali Linux in a VM, and that VM will be sandboxed, and that we can install the vulnerable OS and applications in the simultaneous same network itself. I will talk about the network segregation, about the VLAN segregation and all while we are working, and setting up the target machines for vulnerabilities. So intentionally vulnerable applications and OSs will be there. So you can hit it up and practice up. We can set it up that in the VMware itself. So you don't need to go anywhere. We can set it up everything in the VMware or VirtualBox. So we have to do this in a isolated network. So then only we will get a real world lab experience. So from installing to isolating the network configurations as well, we will do everything. These three categories are important in setting up the lab.
Sure.
Yeah. So we will go to the next. Next part is what I'm talked about the recon and the information gathering techniques, right? So there are three techniques. Basically, the pyramid of first one is that OSINT. OSINT is like where the ethical hackers use the passive. What to say? This is an indirect information gathering, not directly hitting the servers or the directly touching the web applications. So there are a couple of websites like VirusTotal and OSINT tools available in the GitHub, and many APIs are there. Spiderfoot. So those tools will gather the information that are indirectly. So, for example, a website is there and that has been breached, and the database has been put in the dark web. Okay. So you can use OSINT tools to retrieve the information from the dark web on the paste bin. Paste bin is where the leaked credentials, leak the information database. Usually they will post in that. So and even the vulnerability database. So you can, even if they will say, for example, you would have source code has been leaked for this application. So if a source code is leaked, we can able to know the what backend data, I mean components they have used. For an example, old version of database they have used, but for that old version, exploit will be available. You can use that exploit to gain access to the whole application itself. So that's how OSINT works. You have to use the internet and Google Docs and everything to indirectly find any piece of sensitive information of any application, and using that we will get into that system. So that is OSINT. And social engineering is like manipulating people, like that phishing, right? Phishing is like sending an email like genuine, and the user will click it, but it will be a malicious site. We will be not able to know that this is a phishing site or a normal site. We will click it and we will lose the access of that website or social media. So popularly we know that Facebook, Instagram, their phishing emails or will come, people will send you a link. If you click that, you will be get caught, and you will submit the information, like bank details, everything. So that's how social engineering works. Social engineering is like manipulating the human mind. So that's how it works. So how vulnerable are people to exploiting that? And the third thing is who's and DNS enumeration. For example, like if you want to register your website, you have to purchase a domain, and that's how you keep it, right? For bigger organization, they have multiple subdomains and CDN networks, they register it. So we have to gather such information when they have registered, and is it going to expiry, the certificate they are using it for the website to register. Every information we have to gather it. According to that only we have to plan our attack surface management. Even one piece of uh, missing lead, like there is an if there is certificate expiry, we can download that certificate and use it against the web application, and we can manipulate that application itself completely. So there are, if DNS enumeration, we can do a subdomain takeover. That is a common thing people do. If the expiry of that domain is already expired, we can register it in the same domain and we can take over the complete domain. So those kinds of information we have to gather it. So before attacking an application, we have to do OSINT. Social engineering, it's like manipulating. For example, say your friend is having an account in that application, so you are sending him a phishing link, cloning that page and sending him to making him to log in, and his username password you are getting it. So that's how you are manipulating the people. Who's and DNS enumeration is the you are enumerating the infrastructure where the application is hosted, and applications URL and everything. So these three components is the indirect way of information gathering. OSINT has many techniques: email OSINT, and email OSINT, and this breached OSINTs, databases, source codes. Many things are there, and potential vulnerability information. And even in OSINT, even if an application is putting an agreement with another company, right? Those sensitive files and documents is also considered as a valid information, and that if you are able to retrieve those details, like their bond papers and everything, that is also will come under OSINT. Okay, any doubts in this?
Yeah, I heard of like working in an
Hmm.
organization, right? And we sometimes introduce our third-party vendor to do a penetration testing on our own organization to see if
Yeah,
anything is vulnerable, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
do they follow the same three components, the methods, whatever you mentioned? Will they be following the same?
In this, when you're coming to the third party thing, the scope will be defined, what to do, what not to do for the third party, because
Okay.
internal pen testers have many free hands to do that, but external vendor, the NDA form is signed, and they will have certain do's and don'ts. So according to that, only if they have to do the application pen testing without this information gathering, extra information gathering, they will be signed about that. The coordinator will be very clear about what you're gonna do. Only do the application breaking alone, do
Mhm.
nothing else. If they do that, they won't touch it. There is another thing called red teaming. Okay, red teaming is like in that case, every organization won't touch it. Only the top management and CEO knows there is going to be a red teaming activity performed. Let me say what is red teaming. You would have seen the Hollywood movies. The hero will come and take over the whole building, like hacking. hacking the building with their ID cards and making that, uh, gathering some information and going into that application and server room. You would have seen this in many Hollywood movies. So that is called the red teaming. That here we do that for an organization, like how an external attacker is coming inside the a company and obtaining the DC. DC is the domain controller, where everything is set up in the infrastructure, gaining the highest privilege. So that is a red teaming. That starts from information gathering, phishing, and after phishing you will be able to get the credentials of some people, and using that, you using the credentials, you want to gain a system access. From that system access, you have to do privilege escalation, and the final thing is you have to obtain the sensitive information of company details, bank account details, what are their background bonds, and everything, every sensitive information. That is the goal of red teaming. Many big four organizations do that. I have worked for big four and in red teaming back. Now I am switched to product company. So I have done red teamings as well. So whatever you asked is like red teaming, guy will do this. Normal pen testing guys will only focus on the component given to him. Okay.
Understood. Understood. So it has got a multiple methods, is it? One thing is you said they will try to take control of the domain control.
Yeah.
Similar to that, what else they do? Like what will be the goal of that red teaming report? Because I've
Yeah,
received some of the
goal of
reports
the red
from red
teaming
team.
is like,
Yeah.
say if it is an hospital, for example, I have done an red teaming for an hospital, so I'm saying with that example. So we have done the phishing and gone into the network, and they will give an ID card as a hospital employee for us. So we will impersonate like a hospital guys, and we will be sitting in the normal cafeteria or something, and we will have all the access. With the credential, we will log in into that system, and we will do the active directory pen testing. That and all pretty advanced, so you will learn it in the upcoming thing. Active directory, we will use this because every organization use active directory. I think you pretty much know what is active directory.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we are using active directory has many misconfiguration. If it is not properly managed, we can use it. Till now, even if it is properly managed, there are many techniques to bypass it and everything. So there are techniques. So we will, uh, what we did is we gained the DC level access. If DC is obtained, your whole network is in our control. And after achieving the DC, we can enumerate the patient's records, the backend DBs of the patient's records. Like we can manipulate. What if you manipulate a patient's record? Everything will collapse, right? That is a serious issue. And the X-ray machines and the MRI machines details, the purchase dates and the medical records of the people, and everything will be in a question marks. So for mainly hospital, bank, and all, the cybersecurity assessment and pen testing will be done on par. They will be regularly doing it to fix the issues and doing that. So the achievement is, uh, if an hacker comes out, what and all he will do, that we have to do it and fix it before him. That is the goal. Before he obtains the critical data or anything. So we have to see all the possibilities, like these are the holes, we have to fix it. So the environment and the developers will fix it.
Got it. So just one question. Red
Yeah.
teaming, how it is different from ransomware?
So see, ransomware and redeeming is like, it depends on the hacker's mindset. If he wants to do a ransom, he will just come hack it. He will gain the access to the system, put that ransomware, and that malware will encrypt everything, and it will ask for the money. For a other kinds of hacker, what they will do is they will steal the data very silently, and the system will be functioning normally. We won't know that hacker is in the system itself. The system will be, they will do very stealth kind of operations, so they will be stealing the informations. if an hacker wants a one-day money, like immediate money, they will do the ransom, or they will do a kind of behind business. They will collect all the hospital information, bank information, and the 24/7 that he will be obtaining the backend details, account information, everything. So it depends on the hackers what they're gonna do. Both are critical for an organization, so that's
Understood.
why they hire a pen tester and a defense threat model analyzer, detection engineer. In cybersecurity, many roles are there, like malware analyst, detection engineer, SOC, security operations center people, and pen tester. And in pen tester, the pen testing, there are different kinds of pen testing as well. I will come in the end for in pen
Sure.
testing what are they. Okay. I will move
Sure.
to the
Sure.
next.
We
Yeah.
can move forward.
So we have seen the passive information gathering because without directly hitting the target. So this is active information gathering. In this, there's also I have split it into three phases because you are beginners, but there are many phases in this. But to not to overwhelm you, I'm split it into three. Like if if you are in a network, like you have another computer in your same network, okay, so you want to gather some information about that host. So I think you would have heard about this network scanning tool called Nmap, network mapper. So Nmap is a tool, it is being used worldwide, from normal here to students to NSA, National Security Agency of US. They use this Nmap. This is the open source tool that has been developed for network scanning. It will gather the port information, open ports of an IP address of an system. For example, a Windows system, I'm saying. You want to hack an Windows system, you are just pinging to that. You will get the reply, right? And using this Nmap tool, we will just gather the information of what are the services running on the port. If an web application is running, it will be running on port 80 or 443, and what server version it is running. Everything can be gathered using this Nmap. And Nmap can be used as a vulnerability scanning as well, to a certain extent. It can be used to brute force as well, brute forcing SSH, certain kind of port services we can brute force in Nmap. Nmap is the first stage of active scanning, like pinging whether the target is reachable or not. And um, and uh, and Nmap can be used to map the host discovery. You are in a network, but you don't know how many systems and IPs are active. You can use Nmap to do the host information gathering, where it will scan all the IP address according to the CIDR. That means the subnet value. It will scan across and it will say the live open IP addresses. Then, according to that, you can move into the network to enumerate each and every system. So we can use Nmap for that. And there are many vulnerability scanning tools available in the market that are very costly as well. Nessus, Qualys, that bigger organizations, they use it. So uh, the thing is, for 1 to 10 IP address, you can use an Nmap. Like even for 100 or 1,000, we can use to gather the information. But in a higher level, many organizations have 10,000, 20,000 plus computers. So we have to manage that, right? So these comes the enterprise level tools like Nessus and Qualys, and many scanners are there. And that comes once the network scanning is done, then we do the vulnerability scanning, and then we do the banner grabbing and fingerprinting. What is banner grabbing and fingerprinting means is, for an example, Google is a web application, right? But Google has hosted its application in a server, and that server is like this application open through a port. Okay, so we have to gather the port information, what is a port number, and we have to fingerprint the application service versions. So For example, a VLC media player is running. For example, I'm saying what kind of VLC it is running, and for example, we can say a Windows system is running. There are multiple Windows versions, right? Windows 7, 8, 10, and 11 now, that the latest. So if you find, how will you find the OS version running behind the in the network itself? So these tools will help. So if you find a Windows 7, you can hack it. There is an eternal blue vulnerability. As someone asked, like for ransomware, right? Windows 7 was immediately killed by Microsoft during a ransomware attack. That is was WannaCry ransomware that was spreading in the year to 2016 and 2017. So the thing is, using this banner grabbing technique only, they will find the Windows 7 system and they will verify it, and then they hack it and gain the shell access, and they put the ransomware. So that's all. Everything will be corrupted, and nothing we can do about the system. Only thing is we have to replace this. So banner grabbing is like in a service, what service it is running, and what software it is using in the backend. So those kinds of details we can use these techniques of banner grabbing and fingerprinting. So for why they have named this fingerprinting is like, if a fingerprint is there, we can get the whole details of a person, right? So that's how. So we have to understand what kind of software services the system is using. That's how we have to fingerprint it. So that then only we can plan the attack surface. So you have any doubts in this?
So this Nmap, is it used for scanning any random ports, or only
No,
this web
see,
port? Okay.
for if you take one system has 65,535 uh, ports are there for any system. You can open any ports in that. So you have to scan if all the ports. Okay, for any system you take, you have to scan all the ports. But in Nmap there are commands to frequently used ports, famous ports like that. So if you are an attacker, you have to check each and every corner. You have to scan from top to end. You cannot scan only these ports. You cannot stay like that. You have to scan every port.
Sure. Okay.
Only if you hit that with you have to scan all the ports, then only you will know whether it is open or not. And there are many techniques in the Nmap like firewall evasion and packet fragmenting and everything. That's all pretty advanced. I will cover it in the sessions where we go deeply.
So will this Nmap be driven only by the hackers, or is it even for, as you mentioned, even for VAs can also we can utilize it, right?
Yeah, you can use for if you want to gather information of in your network, right? You have to see if you are a software developer, but you have an interest to see what is in the network. How many people are in your IP address nearby you? So you can gather such information from Nmap. It is open source; you can download it, but maybe some organization block it from downloading it because they have this DLP, right?
Got it.
Yeah.
Good.
So are we good to go? Can we move to the next?
Fine. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So now I'm going to say about the exploitation methods. So these are the common vulnerabilities maybe you would have heard on the internet saying that SQL injection and cross-site scripting and buffer overflow. Okay, SQL injection is like, for an example, I'm saying there is an web application, there is a user form logging in. Okay. Uh, so you're entering a username and password. Okay, in that and what it does, that application, so it will check in the database, go back to the database and check if the username is there, and it will match with the password, and the application will verify in the backend, and then if it is okay, it will allows you, then you proceed for the login and it will logs you in. So in the login forms, we have to manipulate the front end, like giving the SQL injection, like giving the directly the SQL commands with the username and checking whether application is able to process it properly. If an application is not processing it, you will be able to read the backend database information. So this is how SQL injection is a uh, very much critical vulnerability where you will come across all applications. There are many types of payloads and crafting and everything is going around it. So if you are able to exploit it, you will be able to retrieve the complete database in the backend itself, and you will be able to get the usernames and everything from the backend. So that is how the SQL injection vulnerability is. These are the common vulnerabilities I'm saying about the web application alone now. There are mobile, there are thick client, and there are network, there are AD and firmware, IoT, and many pen testings are there. But for now, we are covering only the web applications. Okay. So do you have any doubt in this SQL injection? So that
Can you just give me an example of this SQL injection, if possible?
yeah. So I'm how to say, like, wait, for example, like you are logging in, right? So logging into the any applications in the login form. For example, I'm saying a login form. You can find a SQL injection in any kind of thing. So you, for example, I'm saying in the login form itself, right? You are entering the username and password. In the username field, like you are giving the SQL command, like quotation and select from the database or table you are giving it. What it will pretend, like the application will process with the username and the payload, and that whole username payload will go into the backend, and it will process like a username. If the application code, the developer might not have used the sanitized way, it will process the payload in the backend and it will reveal the other usernames list. Are you getting it?
Yes, to an extent. Yeah, no worries. Yes, thanks for that.
No, I have no, I currently have no lab setup because they told
That
only
is fine.
30
That is fine.
minutes. So
That is fine.
maybe,
We can move forward. Yeah.
yeah, sure. And cross-site scripting. Cross-site scripting is like JavaScript payload that we are going to give it in the client side in the front end of an application, and it will trigger a pop-up. Uh, so if you are triggering a pop-up and sending it to another user, and you are manipulating to click them, and if the other user clicks it, you will get the cookies of the other user. If he is logging, if you are able to get the cookie, you can use that cookie session and log in, use a cookie session to log in him as your friend's user. For example, you are want to hack your friend account of Facebook. For example, I'm saying you can craft this XSS payload and send it to him. If he clicks it, his cookie will come to your XSS payload, and you will obtain this cookie. And using that cookie, you can replace it with the cookie editor with his cookie. And if you refresh it, his login session will come to yours. So that's how this XSS payload. But for crafting XSS payload, you have to know the JavaScript, balancing the payload and the alert system. You have to get the pop-up, then only you can craft the payload and send it to the other end user. So XSS is also a serious vulnerability, but there are different types of XSS, reflective XSS, DOM XSS, and stored XSS. For example, if I'm saying that how XSS can be very serious. There is a comment section in some of a blog. Okay, you are a user in that. You are entering. For example, I'm saying stored XSS. You are giving the XSS payload and you have commented out, but you won't receive the pop-up. if an admin opens, sees who and all commented out, he will get the pop-up. If he clicks it, admin's cookie will come to you, and you can use that cookie, and you will get the admin session. You will become the admin now. So that we will see it in the practical sessions of session management issues, how this XSS can be exploited. So if you log into an application or web, you can see accept cookies, deny cookies. Have you seen that? So cookies are the important things where it is a ticket for that particular session. It will expire it in 30 minutes and 15 minutes according to the how developers has said. But if you log into an application, that cookies will be there. It will get expired and it will be stored in your web browser.
It's kind of a cache, is it? Or
Yeah. In your cache, cookies are stored. So if you go into a first time, it will be slowly, you will be logging in and everything in that one application if you're creating an account and all. And if the second time, if you're opening that application directly, it will log in and you will have the information predefined because the cookies are stored in your cache memory. Okay, so that's how if an attackers gain access to your system, he will first steal your cookies and sessions where he can reuse it. So that's how this hackings and all this fully focused on this session management and cross-site scripting.
okay.
Yeah. So there are the other thing is buffer overflow. Why I picked buffer overflow is you since you asked about ransomware, right? For implementing ransomware, hacker have to gain first found a vulnerability to pass it into that application. He has to gain a shell access to that application. For example, I'm saying Windows 7 is they have retired it. Why? Because it has had a serious vulnerability. You will wonder why Windows is Microsoft is giving new versions of Windows because um, there are vulnerabilities developing for that kind of Windows version. They develop a new OS completely from the base of that, and for the commercial and purpose as well. So Windows 7 was retired because it has multiple vulnerabilities, and with the piece of code it can be hacked. So it was replaced, and Windows 8 similar. And now the stable versions are Windows 11 and 10. Still now there are no serious vulnerabilities for Windows 10 and 11. But during Windows 10 release, there was an SMB ghost vulnerability. You can just go and Google it, SMB ghost, where Windows 10 was also very vulnerable, and they have now fixed it. So those kind of they will say it as RC, so remote code execution. So those kind of remote code execution exploits and vulnerabilities are built using buffer overflow. Buffer overflow is where you would have came across this in data structures while you're in college, like the stack and buffer will be there. Okay, for every piece of code, the stack will get filled and the next stack will get filled. That's how the data structure works, right? So these applications and OSs are built based on that coding only. So each and every network connectivity and request are built upon these buffers, zeros and ones. So in that buffer overflow, we will do an assembly level coding that splits this buffer, and we will load this buffer to blast. It will overflow the buffer and it will gain access to that system. That's how buffer overflow works. This is how big hackers craft their payload and they are gaining access to the system. So that's how buffer overflow works. They overload the buffer and they make it to crash, and then they gain the access to the system. This is how they hack. You have any doubts in this for buffer overflow or XSS, anything?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. For now you will have some many doubts, I know, but once you see it as practically how it works, you will be able to grasp it.
Sure. Yeah, you can move forward.
Yeah. The next is exploitation frameworks that are available. Kali has this inbuilt framework called Metasploit. So Metasploit is like automated vulnerability exploitation. So if you want to exploit a Windows system, Windows 7 particularly, I'm saying if you have Windows 7 in your home, you can try to hack it and see using this Metasploit framework. Yeah, there is an auxiliary module, you can verify it, and that is a payload. You can set the IP address and port, and if you give exploit, it will it will execute the payload and you will gain shell access to that system. And not only for Windows, there are many vulnerabilities exploit that are in Metasploit, and there are manual exploitation techniques. In real world, I will say Metasploit will not work when you're working for an organization. They will all have latest patched kind of softwares, so everything you have to do it manually only. And for manual exploitation techniques, there are exploit DB, and uh, I will explain you by sharing the screen for exploit DB. Right? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the C. This is the recent vulnerabilities that exploit that will be available in the exploit database. The website name is exploit-db.com. Okay. Exploitdb.com. If you put it in the Google, it will come. So see, these are in 2025 itself. See, this is the remote code execution vulnerability of this software. So uh, if you find a vulnerability, right, you can send a mail to this exploit database or cv.org.com. They will register the patent in your name, and a CV number will be registered, and the author. See, this person has found out this, and this particular exploit works in the platform of Windows. So the exploit code will be there. In he has put it in the GitHub page. Okay, so he would have explained the requirements and the impact. If you found this software GeoVision AS Manager, you can use this piece of code and try to exploit that vulnerability. So that's how it works. Everything will be patented and it will be released here. You can use it if your organization using in 2025 alone. In August month, these many of things are registered. For September month, you can see it in 1 or 2 weeks. Every day 100 to 200 exploits are getting invented, because that much of software products are around the globe, and every day exploit is being found, and it is being registered, and it is being patented. So that actively the cyber field is growing, and they are actively researching on the softwares that are currently in. You have any doubt on this?
So initially you said about this CV, and when we come across vulnerability, we'll be able to share this and get a CV created. Just could you explain that once again, please, just for my understanding?
Yeah, the thing is, if you are finding any vulnerability in a software, okay, but that is not anywhere in the internet, like you have created your own uh, exploit code and made it to exploit, and you have found a vulnerability in a web application, on any application, the client or API, anything. So for example, I'm saying you are finding a vulnerability in Google or Facebook. So you can first send a mail to cv.org, like we have found a issue in that. And Google and Facebook have their own responsible disclosure program where you can send the mail directly to them itself, and they will itself register in the CVE and everything. So what you have to do is you have to find your own method. You have to develop the skills, and you have to find a vulnerability on your own, and then you can register it with the cv.org according to the date, right? When you found, when the year and the month, they will calculate and they will give you a CV number according to that, and that code will be published in this exploit DB, so everyone can use it.
Sure, sure. Yeah, understood that. Thanks.
Yeah. And post exploitation techniques. After this automated and manual exploitation techniques, there is another thing called post exploitation techniques, where you have hacked the computer, and you have gained access to that system. So what you will do now, you have to but you are just the user, you are not the admin. Okay, you are in system, there are many users, right? So there are another techniques called privilege escalation. That if hacking is an art, privilege escalation is another art. There is another sea of other side of hacking, that privilege escalation. That itself we have to take it separately. That is itself a separate course of privilege escalation techniques, like, and escalating the privilege from user to admin. So there are many plenty of techniques, and
Crisply, can you give me an example of that privilege escalation, please? Yeah,
uh,
any small
for
example. Yeah,
example, like,
what we do using that?
for example, you are working in an organization, you are just an user, right? If you use that technique, privilege escalation technique, and gain an admin level access, see, you cannot install the apps you think in your organization where you're working, right? But if you gain admin level access, you will be able to do that. So as you are gaining the privileges of admin, so you are manipulating, for as a normal user, you use this exploitation techniques and gaining the admin level access. Okay.
Okay.
Here also completely the coding is involved, and all. So only I'm
just for my
saying,
understanding, so we get access to a user mission, right? Not the administrator one, but
no, see, you
using
are
that.
working in an
Uh-huh.
application, you are working in an organization, you have given a
Okay.
laptop, and
Okay.
you are just an user in that laptop, you are not the admin for that laptop. If
That
you
is right.
want to install any application, you have to install a blocked
Uh,
application. How will
I
you
should have
install? You
admin
cannot
rights. I
install.
should.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have to escalate that privilege. There are many techniques for that. So there are, if so the system admin takes care of that. If he leaves out any misconfiguration, you can use that to enumerate, and you can use a code, write a piece of code, PowerShell code, to escalate that, and you will become an admin. There are many techniques in that, so I will explain it in upcoming classes of detailedly how it works. To explain it itself, it will take a day for what and all it is involved in this.
Okay. Understood.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sorry, I missed your name. Your
Vigneshwar.
Okay. So Vignesh, are you going to be the faculty for this course starting from Monday, or it will be a different person?
No, they told just to take the demo class.
Oh, understood.
Let's see the
Yeah,
feedback, and they will take it forward after that.
got it. Yeah, please move forward. Thanks.
Yeah. And regarding the post exploitation activities, right? Uh, First thing is maintaining access. No, so for example, if he has Kaspersky, if you hack your friend system, but he has an antivirus thing, it will immediately find out and cut the connection. Okay, in that case, we have to. There is another C called bypassing antivirus, AV bypass. Privilege escalation is an art. Another thing is antivirus bypass and bypassing the security measures. For that, you have to learn malware analysis and everything. That goes another deep cycle. Okay, we will leave it for now. That maintaining access, escalating privileges, and clearing the tracks. You have hacked the system, but there should be no trace, even if further forensics or anything is conducted. And there is another techniques called clearing the tracks. there are many scripts available. You can use that script to clear the tracks that you won't leave any footpath in your system that you have came and hacked and gained access, or because that everything will be stored in the logs, Windows logs. So you have to be undetectable. That stays how a hacker is more talented. If he gets caught, if I'm not saying he's a bad hacker, but uh, to be an ultimate hacker, you have to be silent. They should not able to find it out. Today in the market, many antivirus, XDR, EDR is there. So in real world, to set up the expectancy right, uh, you have to learn this basics first, and then go to privilege escalation techniques, and then you have to move to the malware analysis and bypassing. Creating, you itself have to create a malware and then works. So first, before creating a malware, you have to know how to hack the system, and then you have to create a malware and then evade the systems, the security measures, and hack it. So that's how it works. Even after gaining this access to the system, you have to find a ways to what and all he has the access. You have to steal the cookies. If he has stored his documents in plain text and everything, you can. Once you have gained the access, you have to follow. There are multiple techniques called post exploitation activities. So there are many techniques for that. So these are the exploitation framework. So are we good to go to the next?
Yes, I'm fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Then comes the reporting and remediation. Okay. You have done all these. You have done hacking and you have done the evading and you gained access and you found the vulnerabilities and everything. Now you have to present it to the client. See, now pen testing has become as a pen testing as a service. So you have to explain it to the client, because client will be a non-tech person, right? So you have to explain the business cost, business justification, how your business impact and everything will be if this vulnerability gets exploited by an hacker. You have to write a detailed report, and with the key components you have to record the POC, have the screenshots and everything. And then uh, since I am working in an organization, since you are also wanted to work as a hacker in an organization, you have to follow these. Very professional. A hacker who's not an like unprofessional hackers will not do that. But as an organization, we are white collar jobs. We are white collar hackers. So we have to do this, explain them, and reporting is 40, and your technical part will be 60. Okay, and explain them, and creating a detailed report. Now AI tools are there, we can automate the reporting as well, and create a very precise dashboarding, very appealing sleek design and all. We can do that. And there are many categories if you find an vulnerability, but there are many categories. Let me share my screen. There is calculator for that. Why I'm showing is you have to get the real world exposure of what actually it is being done as a business, because we are at the end of the day we are going to work for a software company, or so that professionalism what has been carried out should be you have to get that idea at the initial stage itself. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, Vignesh.
Yeah. This is the calculator called Common Vulnerability Scoring System. Okay, CVSS. Based on this only, the vulnerability is rated as critical, high, medium, or low. Okay. Um, for example, an attack vector is there. See, it will ask you network, adjacent, local, or physical. So physical in the sense you are going to plug a malicious pen drive in that comes in a physical, or it is in a local network. You are going in a office network, and you are going to try to hack your try to find a vulnerability in your friend system, that is local. And if it is in a network, but you are in the same network, but it is in a other hops of subnets, that is network. Adjacent other hops of subnets, that is network. Adjacent is adjacent is completely a different network where it is hosted in the internet, and in the internet it is a internal system where you have used tunneling methods to connect it. So that comes in the adjacent. Okay. Attack complexity. Have you used many piece of codes, or you have done it with very ease of methods? That is low, you have to select. Privileges required. Do you need any privilege to exploit this, or you need admin level access, like that? Low privileged user, high will be admin, none will be you don't, no privilege user is required. User interaction. User interaction is like if you are sending a link, your friend has to click, then only you will receive the exploit, means then you have to click required, and user has to intervene in this. So then only this exploit will work, the vulnerability will work. In that case, you can select none or something like that. Scope. Are we changing the scope? Scope in the sense, are we using other IP addresses, other API, or any other third party is linked between? So you have to select that unchanged or changed. Then comes this CIA trade: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So confidentiality, since any confidential details you are able to get, low, high, based on that you have to rank it. Integrity, how integrate Google is, how you trust Google, right? But you are able to find a vulnerability in the Google itself, their integrity is affecting, right? Then the high. Availability. So if Google is your search engine, but imagine if it is not available, an attacker is making down, and what availability is affected, right? If availability is highly affected, you have to click I. Based on that, if you click all this, you will get a score 8.3. Okay, that is high kind of vulnerability this is. And if you select this, it will, according to that, it will increase. If you user in privileges require low, it will reduce. Attack complexity high, it will reduce. Local, physical, according to that the score changes. If you find a vulnerability, you have to come to this calculator, put this, and there are much more detailed analysis are given here. Exploit code maturity, proof of concept is ready or not, like that. So that's how exploit is crafted professionally, and it is bring it to the report, and we have to present it to the client. That's how the whole process this ethical hackers do. You get it?
Okay. Okay.
And then comes the prioritizing the vulnerability. If a critical vulnerability is found, you have only 2 to 3 days to fix it. And if a high, it founds 1 week, and medium findings I think is 1 month, and low findings 90 days. So that's how the SLA will be calculated. Big organizations follow these. So that's how you have to document your findings. Okay.
Okay.
So
Got
then
it.
we can go to the next thing. Ethical and legal consideration is like code of conduct. You have to maintain the integrity. Like, see, for there are insider threats as well. You will work for an organization as a hacker, but you steal something and share it to some other organization. The data means you will get to a problem. You should never do that. Your career will be ruined. And you, as a hacker, you're like a police for that organization. You have to protect the organization's data and everything, you, because you're handling the sensitive details. For example, in my organizations, right, I will be having access to all the areas, even the knock and sock room, because we are working in the cybersecurity. Not the normal developers and all will not have access to all the premises in the organization, but as a pen tester, hackers will have all the access to the premises. So whole organization you can do whatever you want, but you have to protect. That is the first rule of this cybersecurity. And professionalism in reporting. You have to be accountable for the trust and everything that are maintained in an organization if you're going for a work, right? So that's how. Sir, ethical responsibilities of what you do. So hands-on demo, we will see it in the upcoming sessions, okay? Because it will take at least 2 hours to 3 hours. So explain line by line. So any
Okay.
doubts, you can ask it straight away.